This video was sponsored by the World Caregiver Network. For more information, visit www.worldcaregivernetwork.com.
Hello, it's George here, and I've got a sort of interesting kind of a review playthrough sort of series here, and I'm asking the community, the bummers out there, to get interactive, because this will be an interactive adventure wherein you choose the next direction we take. It's a very interesting game called The Realm of No for the Atari 2600, and it's originally based on a module submitted by Kim Ryan in 1985. The Realm of No. There was 10 copies of it submitted to various different game publishers such as TSR and such like for Dungeons and Dragons, but it was never actually published and never returned to the author, and it made its way into different people's collections, and over the years various versions of it were discovered and rediscovered, and it was always considered to be a vastly unpopular game with the role-playing historians of now and then, but people seem to be quite fascinated by it and enthralled by the history of this bizarre game and the strange sort of stuff that turns up in the module, and really it's quite incongruous with the rest of the Dungeons and Dragons and Tunnels and Trolls and all that sort of thing, all those campaigns. It really sticks out like the veritable sore thumb. And then it came down to the job of Greg Zumwalt and Charles F. Gray creating a text adventure game around it, and they liked the old the Timex Sinclair 1000 text adventure games and decided that they were going to create something a little bit like that and use the module as a basis of that. And as was the case with those games, it's a white screen with black text and sort of no colours. And it had to be really completely rewritten and sort of rebuilt from the ground up in order to fit into the Atari 2600, which obviously, as you know, it's probably know, is really, really small games have to fit onto that. But anyway, the Greg programmed the game, and old Charles, who's asked me to review it, actually reworked the game and reworked the whole sort of module and rewrote everything and made it into what's now the text adventure that lies before us, ready to be tackled by the most diligent of bummers out there. And how we're going to play this is I'm going to go through the locations, and at the end of each one there'll be a choice or several choices, and basically you're all going to help pick the direction that happens next, and the voting will take place in the comments, so you'll just leave a comment saying like A or B or whichever option, and then you can say something after if you actually want to say something about the game, but make your first word in the comment or letter in the comment must represent the direction that we're to take next. And after a few days I'll add them all up, and then I'll go on to the next location, and when we reach some exciting stuff, I'm sure we'll come through some exciting scrapes together, and if we die I may even allow people to go back to the previous location and carry on from there. But anyway, this is the Realm of No, so let's dive in to an interesting little diversion for the Funky Spectrum channel. It's sort of like a rolling review, an interactive review, and you heard it here first. It's something that the community can be really involved with. Anyway, let's get in to the Realm of No on the Atari 2600. Okay, here we are, the Realm of No, the title screen showing the word no on a sort of Dungeons and Dragons style Statue of Liberty, but instead of the flame of freedom, it's the flame of no, just telling you no, you shall not go beyond this point, you shall not pass, but the bummers will pass, and bloody hell, look, there's Hitler down the bottom as well, a sort of animated robotic version of Hitler standing up with little arms sticking out the side of his head, his small little moustache all visible, and here's a sort of potato frog man, rather like the sort of people that spend their time reviewing retro games in a lot of cases. Old George's enemies, a lot of potato frogmen kicking around there, and here's a sort of a triangle headed, pyramid headed chap, almost looking like Kenneth Williams with a riding crop, ready to leather the arsehole of anyone who so much as says anything about his homosexual advances. But anyway, as I said, we're going to get into the game. It's a wonderful title screen, this really evocative of what's coming up. And there's old Hitler again. Perhaps the sort of frog potato above is meant to be a Frenchman, and old Hitler's sort of pushing it out of the way, the moving up and down and the scrawling, representative of the French running away from the Maginot Line, which they did during the Second World War and nearly lost the whole bloody thing for everyone. But anyway, let's see what happens in the first location in the realm of No. Prince Corey summons you to his grand castle in the Under Kingdom. He asks you to destroy King Bill and the realm of No. Do we accept or do we decline? Now, I believe this is actually basically in relation to actually sort of starting the game, so we're definitely going to accept that. So that's to show what happens. It's basically you pick A or B or whatever the option is. So we'll select A, and let's carry on. The prince gives you an enchanted sword and armour. He promises a great reward if you are successful. You head for the forest of tomatoes. A day's walk later, you encounter a vast reddish forest. You notice red, body-sized sacks hanging in the trees. Rest or stay alert? Now, the rest is up to you, bummers. Do we rest, A, or do we stay alert, B? Please put the letter at the start of your comments and we'll take it from there. As soon as I get in about 10 votes or something, I'll make the next video. Okay, bye. Hello, it's George here, and this is the exciting second part in the realm of No. And in the last thrilling part of the adventure, all you loyal bummers got together and picked option B, which was instead of to sleep in the dark forest, you would stay awake, eyeing suspiciously the giant round baubles hanging pendulously in the trees above, waiting to drop down at any moment. So without further ado, let's get in to part 2. We've made the right choice, bummers. Dozens of red tomato warriors jump out of the trees wielding swords. You swing your sword wildly as body after body of slain tomato warriors fall to your feet. You notice a gigantic and horrific-looking factory in the distance. So, the question for today is, do we press on and explore the factory, looking for traces that will lead us further in our quest, or do we turn tail and return to tell King Corey of what we've found thus far? The choice, as ever, is yours, bummers. Choose A, to explore, or B, to return and tell Corey what we've found. Please make your suggestion in the comments, and once we've at least 10 votes, I'll tally them up, and we will decide from that what happens next. Okay, bye. Okay, bummers, yesterday we made the wise choice of staying awake in the dark forest and were subjected to an attack, an ambush from the tomato men, which we repelled with aplomb, sending bodies and mushy tomatoes all over the place. But after that, off in the distance, we spied a great factory, and we decided to head on towards that factory. So without further ado, let's find out what happens. In the large factory, the assembly line crudely builds body-sized metal barrels of red liquid. You notice a red button. Do we press the red button, or do we continue to explore the factory? The choice, as ever, is yours. Make your choice in the comments by writing A to press the red button or B to explore, and we'll carry on the adventure. Hello, bummers, and welcome back to the realm of No. And yesterday we found ourselves deep in the bowels of the V8 factory after having previously escaped the violent and genocidal advances of the Forest of the Tomato Men. Now today we find ourselves pushing the red button as you all chose to do yesterday. So without further ado, let's push that button. The assembly line comes to a halt. Suddenly the 20 human-sized metal cans sprout arms and legs and then attack you. The V8 golems snap at you with their claws, cutting into your flesh. Using your sword, you manage to destroy them, but you are bleeding. So, bummers, select what happens next. Do we A, rest, or do we B, drink V8? For those of you who don't actually know, V8 is a sort of American vegetable juice that's predominantly composed of tomato juice. Okay, time to decide, and then the quest shall continue. Hello, it's George here, and this is a return to the realm of no. And we've been in a vicious, pitched battle at the side of the conveyor belt, fighting for our lives with the V8 golems, but 20 of them were dispatched by your heroic hand and the snicker-snack of your brutal blade. But now we are absolutely famished on our last legs and really needing some energy, so the bummers chose to drink the V8 that was proceeding along the conveyor belt. So without further ado, let's find out if it was the right choice or if we're forever damned in the V8 golem factory. You see a sign to replenish health and become complete. The blood of our cousins we must soon eat. You drink the red liquid and you are healed. You exit the factory. In the distance you see a lone cave with pots, pans and bones scattered everywhere. Around the entrance, a filthy, ugly, 5-foot-tall half-orc exits the cave and starts cooking food over a fire. Do we greet him or do we avoid him? The choice, as ever, is yours. Please make your choice by voting A or B in the video description, and we will take things from there in the next video. The choice and the course of the journey is up to you. Okay, bummers, welcome back. Phase with us once again as we enter once more into the realm of no, a dramatic fantasy setting where anything can happen. And if you remember, in the last episode, we were outside the cave mouth of a filthy orc who was preparing what looked like some kind of food and pottering around. And he looked up and noticed you and offered you the chance to join him. And we of course accepted. And now the quest continues. Hung quickly looks up and smiles. Hung serves you tomato warrior's flesh. You sleep here, yes, please? Says Hung. So, bummers, do we choose option A, to go to sleep, or option B, to leave? What do we say to Hung's offer? The choice, as ever, is yours. Please vote in the comments for what you would like. Simply write A or B, and once we've collected enough votes, we will progress onwards in the realm of no. Hello, it's George here, and here we find ourselves once again, Dungeoneers, mired in the fantastic fantasy world that is the realm of no. Now cast your minds back into the mists of time, or well, last week as it happens, and we were about to fall asleep in the orc's cave after having dined out on tomato flesh with him. So, without further ado, let's see what happens as we bed down, close our eyes, and fall into a deep sleep at the feet of this accommodating orc. You fall into a deep sleep in Hung's cave. Suddenly, you grab your neck in immense pain, and you feel Hung has sliced it straight through. As you die, bleeding out onto the dirt floor, Hung sings in a woman's soft voice, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, bummers, well, it looks like our particular jaunt through the realm of no has come to an end, and you've no one to blame but yourselves with your stupid, ill-informed votes that led to us all being killed. It wasn't just the people who voted for it, the people who voted against it, you killed them as well, so I hope you bloody well have a good think about that. But anyway, the full game is still available on Atari 2600 cart, and you can pick it up for yourselves and see if you can truly navigate through the realm of no successfully, because for now, adventurers, our quest is at an end. DISMISS.
This video was sponsored by the World Caregiver Network. For more information, visit www.worldcaregivernetwork.com.